The Australian outback is big country, big spaces and big sky. And for those who've survived out here for the past century, those who've travelled throughout here, they know there's a phenomenon with an even bigger heart, and that is the Royal Flying Doctor Service. And you'd be hard-pressed to find a better example of Australian resourcefulness and ingenuity. The RFDS represents all that's brilliant about pioneering Australians in the outback. Resilience, resourcefulness, ingenuity, just like the pioneering motorists like Francis Birtles, who drove across Australia so many times and ultimately drove across the world. On behalf of Team Bean from the Birtles and the Bean Project, who's about to drive from London to Melbourne, I just want to say thank you to our sponsors and thank you to the Royal Flying Doctor Service on behalf of all Australians. I've been fascinated by Francis Birtles since, well, forever. I even wrote a book about the bloke. And the more I found out about Birtles and his boy's own comic book adventures, the more he seemed to come to life. Of all his many expeditions, the one which has always resonated with me is his epic drive across the world from London to Melbourne in a 1925 Bean 14. It's the one journey of his that I've always longed to repeat. This is Francis Birtles about to depart from Australia House in the Strand in London, being cheered on his way by Miss Australia 1927 no less, Phyllis von Alwen. Fast forward 79 years, and our attempt to recreate the expedition begins with the pickup of our own Bean 14, driving it smoothly away to begin its complete restoration. Now this is something I've been dying to show you. You can see behind me is our Bean 14, a 1925 Bean 14, but over here is Francis Birtles, the car, the very car, the Sundowner, the car he drove from London to Melbourne in 1927 and 28. And it's like the planets have aligned. For one day only, we have this car that's come out of the National Museum of Australia in Canberra for one day to a racetrack in Goulburn, New South Wales. So the opportunity to bring both beans together. This car that crossed the world, driving 26,000 kilometres from London to Melbourne, and this car that's about to follow in the very tyre tracks. The car has had a ground-up rebuild and is now as close to Birtles' 1925 Bean 14 as it's possible to get, with one unique addition. This is a brass Burmese tiger Francis Birtles brought back from the expedition and gave to his niece Muriel Tate, who kindly gave it to me.
Yeah, that was on the front of his car, just in front of the windscreen. So now you've got it.
I've got it. Do you mind if I fit it to our...
So long as you keep it nice and clean.
I'll polish it every day, Muriel. I'll give you my word.
I'll ring you up and I'll ask you.
So now after 18 years of preparation, myself and colleague Matthew Benz, who's no stranger to adventure himself, having swum the English Channel and driven a tuk-tuk across India, are ready to go to tell you a story like no other. Travel, history, and most of all, good old-fashioned high adventure. Don't you just want to get in it and, fire it up and barrel along the road? That's what I want to do, and I want you to come with me.